Good morning, everybody. Hi, this is Damian, and you're watching Damian Live. And I'm here with my friend Reynaldo Pacheco, actor extraordinaire. But before we get started about Reynaldo, I wanted to tell you that, Reynaldo, we have like 90,000 viewers now. So I'm like really excited. And we know we have folks from Bolivia watching, and we also have folks from like Belize, we have folks from Africa, we have folks from all over Europe, and of course right here in the United States. So let's give a toast to all our viewers. And thank you so much for watching. There's already people joining. That's really cool. They're all your fans, I'm sure.
No,
because I don't have any fans.
Un saludo a todos, and I'm really happy, man, to be here, hanging out with you in your place.
Oh, thank you so much. We have, so you know, we have all the dogs just rolling around like this while we're doing the show.
Which I love. I have to.
Oh, that's cool.
Vampi.
So I just wanted, to give a quick trajectory, because you had an extraordinary career in such a short amount of time. Reynaldo he has become like one of the biggest rising stars here in in Hollywood. It's like so amazing. He has starred opposite Sandra Bullock and Billy Bob Thornton, and the movie is Our Brand is Crisis, and Our Brand is Crisis was produced by George Clooney and Grant Heslov. He starred opposite Eva Longoria, my dear friend, and Kate Del Castillo in the independent film Without Men. He has also had a supporting role in the film Beginners, which I've seen 3 times, and opposite Ewan McGregor and Christopher Plummer, who actually won the Academy Award for his performance, which that's really cool. But actually, when you look at George Clooney and you look at all the people you work with, George Clooney, Sandra Bullock, Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor was nominated for the Academy Award, but the rest of the people that you've starred opposite, including Ernest Borgnine, have all won Academy Awards. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. So I mean, it's really amazing because that's you got to be.
You better rub off me. Like I
no, but you got to be sharp to work with those folks. So I'm just really proud of you. But you're from Bolivia, and walk us through how you came to us, to Hollywood. And what that process is like.
For sure. I'm from La Paz, Bolivia, and I started doing theater of the press, theater of the streets, theater of the poor, because that's pretty much everything we had back then. And there was a point that I wanted to really dedicate my life to this, and I got a scholarship at Wabash, and that's how I left. And through Wabash, I got to do theater in Mexico, London, Paris, Ecuador. And after college, I got into USC to do my master's.
Wow.
Just in acting. And it was 3 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh my God, it was the best. Honestly, that was a big gift for me to have only 3 years to just do my craft and do clown, commedia dell'arte, and Slavsky, Rotowski, Meisner, any possible technique that you could think of. We got to study that. And then when I graduated, nothing happened for like a year almost, not even a commercial. And one day I got a call from my agent about this little audition that I did behind the lot of Universal, and it was Beginners. And he's like, hey man, you're gonna be acting with Ewan McGregor and Christopher Plummer and Melanie Laurent. And that it was such a small private movie, very
but
humble.
excellent.
But he got the Oscar for that movie, and all my scenes were with him, and that was the key that opened up to Without Men, with Eva Longoria, Kate Del Castillo, and then I did The Man Who Shook the Hand of Vicente Fernandez with Ernest Borgnine, and different projects that led me to work with Sandy and George in Our Brand is Crisis.
What was it like working with Sandra Bullock?
Sandra, she's so real. She's very amazing. Like after you meet her, you forget instantly that she's the biggest star. She really connects with you. And what I love about Sandra is that she protects a lot her thoughts, her mind. She's very careful with what she says, what she thinks. The 4 Agreements.
4 Agreements, love that.
Fantastic book.
By Don Miguel Ruiz.
Un Latino.
Un Latino, sí.
Like just the fact that I went to her and I'm like, thank you for this great opportunity. And she's like, no, don't thank me, thank your work, and be be happy that you're here because of everything that you've done before. So she's a very connected person, and that's very impressive with such intense and chaotic life that you have at that level of celebrity.
Right. And so, what did you learn from Christopher Plummer and the scenes that you're in? Because, honestly, I've seen, like I told you, I've seen that film like 3 times, and it just really, really, if you get a chance, folks, it's an amazing, amazing film.
At the beginning.
It's on Hulu, and you should absolutely see it. It's really just touching, and the scenes that you're in are very, very endearing. And when Ewan McGregor walks in, and then you're, like have this really close, chummy relationship with Christopher Plummer, who is his father, who's dying, and who's just come out as openly gay not too long ago. And so tell me what those scenes were like and what you learned from him.
It was funny because that was my first time doing a movie, and I come from theater. I've done 40 plays before that, so I was ready to like.
That 40 plays? And here in
I've done
in Bolivia,
I've done probably 12 plays, but by then here in the States, and then the rest in Bolivia. But I'm a theater guy. But Mike Mills, the director, he just like put us in position, and then he's like, "What do you need?" And I'm like, I need a small towel. And then suddenly Christopher Plummer fell asleep. Like he started snoring. And I was just looking at him like while he was sleeping, and Mike was talking, and then they started rolling. And the camera started just coming towards us, and they say action, and Christopher Plummer was like still sleeping.
Like really sleeping?
Really sleeping. So I had to like...
That's good acting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I woke him up, and then I just looked at him, and then the scene started, and it was such a big lesson for me because he created a moment of truth without forcing, just being, and that instantly gave me another moment of truth of waking him up and feeling a little nervous because he's ill, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic working with him. And I could hear his subtext between the lines sometimes, like he's clearly thinking between the lines, and sometimes he's just like saying the subtext out. It escapes. And Ewan McGregor, when he finds him dead, we all knew it was fake. We all knew it was not, it was a scene. But the power of the emotion was so powerful that we were all in tears.
Yeah.
Everybody from makeup to, people behind the scenes, and I was like, all right, that's the level of truth. That's where I want to go as an actor.
Right.
So I was very lucky to start.
That movie is called I'm sorry. Yes. That movie is called Beginners. You have to see this film. It's amazing. I just love that film. I'm going to watch it again. I really am. And you did a movie with Ernest Borgnine. Can I tell you a little story about Ernest Borgnine?
Yeah, of course.
So Ernest Borgnine, my family, my step-grandfather, my step-grandmother had a restaurant in Yuma, Arizona. Hey, everybody from Yuma. And so they were filming Flight of the Phoenix. I'm really old, so it was like in the 60s or something. But my stepmom was like the manager, hostess. She used to call herself the hostess with the mostess. And she used to be the one behind the cash register. And they were filming Flight of the Phoenix, the original Flight of the Phoenix, of course, in the sand dunes near Yuma. And the whole cast, Jimmy Stewart, Ernest Borgnine, Peter Finch, and so Ernest Borgnine is such a great actor. And you did The Man Who Shook Vicente Fernandez's Hand. Tell us about that experience with Ernest Borgnine and the film itself.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful film, and I think we're going to release it again because it didn't have the proper release. And honestly, his work is phenomenal. He was 87 at the time we were shooting, and I got to work with these amazing actors, with so much experience. And same like Christopher Plummer, you could see the thinking between the lines, you could see the subtext, and his memory was not working properly at the time. So we had to get big boards and put his monologues, his lines for him, and just seeing him absorb text and making it his own and releasing it with so much easiness and truth, it was beautiful, especially at that age. and he was sad about the loss of his memory. He was aware of it, but his instrument was still very like open and active.
And you know, the other thing is you're a singer.
Yep.
You're a singer, and I saw a video, which is really, really cool, very artistic, voice amazing, and you know, you're just like this triple threat person. And I know you dance too, because I saw you at an event. You're just salsa dancing like crazy. So tell us about the concept of your new song that you put together, and how that came to be, and where's that going? Like,
well, I started as a singer actually.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense.
I started doing musicals when I was really young, and then I went back to theater with the Philharmonic of Bolivia.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just went for acting, and somehow music was closed for me. And a year ago, I went through a breakup. It was a 4-year relationship, and I needed like a new way of like expressing and connecting. We were finalizing our Brandis Crisis, and my character Eddie got the highest votes in Warner Brothers from the audience, because you know they test.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And that was insane. But obviously it's also because of the nature of the character. The character is the victim, and it's a heart. And
well, let me just explain. I don't mean to interrupt you, but so folks, when there's a film being done, they have this whole marketing department. They have all the executive producers. I mean, there's millions and millions and millions of dollars that go into the focus groups and marketing and all of that. And what they do is they test all the different characters before they actually do a final edit of the film. And they look at who is actually resonating the most in the movie. And they have something that's called Q ratings, a lot of what they do on television. If your Q rating is really high, then they're going to invest more money into that particular artist or actor, if you will, in the film. And so that is really, you know, that's really amazing.
It was a blessing, because that's how the opportunity came out. David Gordon Green came to me, and he's like, "Hey, your character is like has the highest rating, so you should do some songs or something for the movie." And I talked to my publicist, to Edward, and we were like,
"Hi, Edward."
He's
right there.
And we started like making a song, and oh my God, I was back in my old element. And we made The Fall, which is a song with Andean instruments. It has a social message. It's connected to the story, and it became more like an anthem for those who are fighting for their rights right now as we speak. Venezuela, the students in Venezuela, the LGBT community in Russia, the women of Syria. In the video, we put a lot of those images as well.
And who directed that? Because it's very artistic. It's very well edited and very well directed. Who was the director on that? Was it you? La fregada! Was that you? Oh my God! I mean, great.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
What happened is that we had a very small budget, and
it looks very, very expensive.
We
like, wow, they have a lot of money. Like, I'm doing this little iPhone here. It's like that must have cost like millions of dollars.
You need to come to Bolivia. It's great.
Okay, I will. We're gonna do a whole. I'm gonna fly over there and do 30 shows.
I know, but
there's a lot of talent there. There's talent all over the world, and I think that's really, you know, I don't mean to, but there's a lot of folks that, you know, there's a lot of talent in the Latino community, you know, and it's just from all countries here throughout the United States that are just amazing, you know, and it's just
so true.
And I think that, you know, we really need to honor that, and so I'm glad that you found somebody in Bolivia to help you.
Yeah, I mean, everything lined up. It's amazing. When it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I found the right people, and I wrote the script for the music video that you'll see it soon, because we're gonna release it for the Latino Awards. We're talking, and also the Dalai Lama gave us a permission to use a message himself about compassion.
That's great. Good endorsement.
Yeah, it's a great endorsement. So that's the story of the song, and we'll see where it goes, and I hope you guys like it.
So we have some folks that are watching, and for some reason or another, this is a lot quicker.
I am so blind. I can't read anybody.
This is delayed here, so I'm not seeing. Hey Javier, how's it going? Javier's joined. Sherry Eaton has joined.
Hola, ¿cómo están a todos?
Yeah. So
welcome.
Well, we did have something here that's called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And you know that I told you about them earlier. So it's about 5 questions, 6 questions. I might have more. So when were you the happiest?
When I was the happiest? When am I the happiest, or when was I the happiest?
When were you the happiest?
Oh my gosh. When I'm creating.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you could speak to God, what would you ask Him?
I would thank Him.
Or her?
I would be very grateful.
Oh,
very grateful.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What is your greatest fear?
To not be present, which happened to me a year ago, and it was awful. I was in the future, I was in the past, I was thinking about what happened, how to work out, and then suddenly more fears come, and more and more and more, and your head is just a mess.
I was just reading a quote to Roland right now, who was on the show earlier, and I don't have it here. Dang, I posted it, which deals with that. Can I read it for you real quick? Let me see. Golly, I'm making this about myself, but I just love this quote because it speaks to what you're talking about. Here we go. It says, "You may not see it today or tomorrow, but you will look back in a few years and be absolutely perplexed and awed by how every little thing added up and brought you somewhere wonderful, or where you always wanted to be. You will be grateful that things didn't work out the way you wanted them to." I think that's pretty cool.
I love it. It's so true.
Yeah, and so here's the next question. Which living person do you most admire and why?
Oh my God, your questions are great. You know what? Oprah. Yeah.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi.
I love you.
She's one of the many that I admire, but
Me too.
she just came right to my head because she's spiritual and she's very aware of her mission. So.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from her show when she did the Oprah Winfrey Live show, and then especially when she did all of these, when she started the OWN network and she was doing, she always had folks like Ian Van Sant and Domingo Ruiz and Edgar Tolle.
Edgar Tolle.
Yeah, Tolle and
Power of Now, great book.
Absolutely, all of those books. Marianne Williamson, Jimmy and I adore her. So Sherry Smith Eaton says, in the movie Our Brand is Crisis, your performance was so believable. Is there anything in your personal life that inspired you to do this role?
Thank you. You know what? Eddie was a very challenging role because he was so clean, so pure, so innocent. And somehow we all lost that. As we continue losing it as we get older because we get hurt, we get betrayed. So for me to go back to that state, I had to do a lot of, I would say, cleansing. I would have to forgive myself for a lot of things and forgive other people and let people go. And somehow it became almost like a spiritual journey that started with that movie. That also reminded me that we all need to do that constantly. Go back to base zero and connect and be present and forgive and let go and these attachments. So there was a lot of that work that's still with me today, and it helped me a lot for sure.
And so let's go back to the rapid fire question. Thank you, Sherry, for that question. Let's see. What is your most treasured possession?
My favorite position.
Well, you can sell that too.
I have so many. I don't know.
Okay.
Depends on night.
No, you can answer that question after the show. But
that's for another.
That's for another
later show. Morning.
That's. So, what is your most favorite possession?
I know.
Not you knew what I was. Go ahead.
My dogs, my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think dogs have taught me everything that we've been. They're just being, you know.
Yeah, they're talk about being pure. They're like super pure. Yeah. They don't lie. Dogs do not lie. What is your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment. God, think making my mom and my dad smile.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom and my dad are both, gone. They passed away. But I have my stepmom, and making her proud and smile is like really means a lot. My husband too. So, do we have any more? Let me see. Do we have anybody else to join us? Da-da-da. Yep. And so, tell us about the. You started a nonprofit organization. Tell me about that.
It's called Changing Stories, and we're working with people from the Dalai Lama. That's how I got the help for the song. And my business partner is Natalie Connealy. Changing Stories is a production company that gives voice to the unheard. And it goes back to the roots of acting and theater, which is communicating important messages. And also the nonprofit guides you through petitions, donating time, donating money, or just a strategy of posting. But what we want to do is inform and start a movement and try to make a change.
That's great. And so, you know what advice, there's a lot of folks out there that are watching, young people, and what advice would you give them about coming to Hollywood and trying to make it in Hollywood, either as a director, actor, dancer, all of it?
Yeah. Hollywood is really falling apart in the sense that you can make your own amazing projects, and it's not about being somewhere. It's not about, obviously it gets to a point, but to start your career and your work, you can start at home, make your own films, starting YouTube videos, doing stuff and sharing it without fear. Before you had to be here, to be on sets, and now it's amazing. You can have a camera and lights and have millions of viewers that are gonna bring you here to do some more work. But I think that's important to remind everybody.
I think that's great.
Everybody.
That's really. So what's coming next? What do you like? What would be like your ultimate role that you'd like to do? What's coming up next? And ¿qué pasa?
I just finished a fun project called Kick. It's a TV show pilot, like Orange is the New Black, but in rehab.
Oh, in rehab? Okay.
So it's funny, but it's dark as well, and I play a guy called Quentin. I'm an alcoholic. It's really dark. It's the opposite from Eddie. And I'm developing my own projects. I'm producing a TV show with Carla Ortiz at Lionsgate called The Cleaners, following Eva's steps.
Eva Longoria? Yeah, everybody's following. I'm trying to follow Eva Longoria. I'm trying to keep up with her.
I know. When we were doing Without Men, I was telling you guys, she was doing the perfume, she was producing, and I'm trying to keep myself creative and use the incredible sources and people that I'm meeting in this journey to create even bigger things.
I really think that, the future holds, I think the future is yours, man, because you have not only the talent, but you have like the sincerity and all the charisma and quality that it takes to be in this business, and also you're multifaceted. And I always use that all the time in the show. I think that someone who thinks they're going to come out here to Hollywood and I'm going to be an actor, before everybody wanted to be just an actor. You cannot just be an actor anymore. You have to do it all. You really have to be able to adjust. You have to be part philanthropist like you are, with starting a nonprofit. You have to do it all.
Yeah.
Because, I think that when you're an actor or you're somebody who's a public figure, people want to be inspired. And they want to be able to emulate that person, and to just emulate someone who's famous for being famous, has a huge social media following and all of that. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for happiness. So I really admire, the work that you're doing spiritually, the work that you do with your craft, your music and all of that. I've done a lot of research on you. I think you're doing a wonderful job. I've been around here for a long time, and I know the people. I actually know the people that I've been at it enough to know that esa persona, that person is going to go big places. And that's what I see for you, and that's my wish for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're about to finish here, and so tell us your social media handles.
Reynaldo Pacheco. You guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and I'm starting to do little videos on Instagram of my personal life.
That's great. I saw some of that. That's really cool.
Chasing my roommate around, but
that's really. Oh my God.
Thank you. It's been great.
Absolutely. So when every time we sign off here, I always say a dream without an action plan is only a dream. So go out there and make your action plan. Make it your best day ever, and remember that you are 100% responsible for your experience in life. No one else but you. So go out there and make it happen. Thank you so much for watching the show. I'm truly, truly grateful. Love you guys, and God dang,
Thank you.
I wish you the best, man.
Igual. Lo mismo digo.
Okay,
Gracias.
gracias.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.